Hi everyone, it's Leonore. Welcome to Soul Searching Tarot. I didn't know what to call this video. I'm not doing a reading, but I definitely wanted to talk about birth charts and a specific placement, which is the ascendant sign. Some people call it rising. I just like to call it ascendant. But the ascendant sign and how it affects your life purpose. And so I did that. And then I got into researching about ether, the ether element. And I don't know if anyone has heard of ether. It is an unseen element that exists that astrologers and astronomers do acknowledge. And then I got into researching the Akashic records. Now that's something I've been researching for a while, little by little. But the Akashic records led me to why we're here in this age of Aquarius. So what the heck? I'm like, what am I gonna name this? I'm like all over the place here, but it does sound that way. It may look that way to you, but it is all connected. It is, believe you me. It's connected. So I hope you don't fall asleep on me. I've been told I have this very soothing voice and people want to listen to my video, but they end up falling asleep, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. Just listen to my videos later, maybe after a cup of coffee or, while you're driving or on the bus so that you don't fall asleep. Because I do have a lot of insight, especially on the zodiac signs, okay? Not the entertainment part like the reading, but more like the zodiac signs and astrology part about it that I want to share with you from my esoteric knowledge. And of course my spirit guides. They are the one that leads me into like telling you these things, by the way. And we're going to talk about spirit guides a little bit, okay? So again, welcome to Soul Searching Tarot. You can reach me for private readings. I will leave my email so that you could contact me. This is just a little insight on everything I just said. Don't know what I'm going to name it yet, but I may end up naming it birth chart, ascendant sign, ether, Akashic records, and the age of Aquarius. Let's get started before I get into like an hour into this. All right. So for those who have been following me for a little bit, you know that I already have 2 videos out on birth charts. I constantly do remind people that birth charts are very important. It doesn't stop at the sun sign. Sun sign doesn't really tell you anything much of your life journey and purpose, does it? And so, the ascendant sign is important, but you do have to know the exact time you were born, and if you don't know, try to figure it out, within that hour or two, like for example, myself, I don't have a time on my birth certificate. I was not born in the United States, but this country does not do, I don't know, maybe back then when I was born, they don't put the time where the baby was born, but whatever. I remember from the stories of my mom and grandma, and how, and when, I'm not how, but when my mom gave birth to me and she was in the middle of working, she was at work, and her water broke and she had to, go to the hospital. So she did give me an approximate time And so that's how I know within the hour, especially within the hour, what time I was born. And hell, if you know the exact time, even better, you know? And I'm saying this because your ascendant sign, it does change every 2 hour. You know, it shifts every 2 hours, with the exception of Aquarius and Pisces. They actually shift every 1.5 hours. 1.5 hour, I should say. And you know, getting familiar with your ascendant sign is important because, for example, I am a Pisces ascendant, and you have to find out what other house this lays on, what other house it sits on. For example, what I'm trying to say is my Jupiter is in the 12th house, which is Pisces. So now I have to link my ascendant sign, which is the perception of how I see the world, and then what other planet my exact same house of the ascendant sits on. For me, it's Jupiter. And I'll explain a little bit about what that means, and how it affects my journey in life. As a matter of fact, being in front of you and talking about stuff like this is exactly my life purpose, it seems like. And it's always been inside me, honestly. I just never fulfilled it to its full potential. So I tell people to go to astro.cafeastrology.com/natal or birth chart. I always try to leave the link in the description box. You could also email me if you need assistance with it. So ascendant sign. What does ascendant sign mean? Well, I told you a little bit about it, but it is a constellation, a group of stars that represents the house of the zodiac, the 12 houses of the zodiac, right? From Aries to Pisces. All right. It is exactly where the sun was rising when you were born. Okay. You know, so I'm just giving you like an in-depth look at what ascendant sign is. Okay. Besides the fact of what I just told you earlier. Now, they say the rising on the east of the horizon, the east of the horizon, where the sun was rising. Why the east and not the west or the north or the south? Well, believe it or not, some people will believe it actually, but the east is considered to be sacred. It's sacred when the sun sets. It's sacred when the sun rises on the east. And so knowing the place that you were born, when you do go into birth charts and figure out, I mean, I hope you know where you were born, because that's just as important as putting in the time. Okay. And it's for time zone reasons. You know, we live in the United States, so we have basically 3 time zones, as far as I know. It's East, Central, and Pacific. So you definitely have to know where you were born, besides the date of birth and the year. So knowing all those things, date of birth, time, where you were born, will give you your birth chart. Okay. I tell people constantly to get yourself very familiar with your sun sign, which most people are, your moon sign, your Mars, your Venus. The houses where it sits in these placements are just as important. It is who you are. It is your personality. The rest of the planets, the rest of the placements, in whatever house they sit on, it's just really a journey, the journey in your life, okay? But those four, the sun, the moon, the Mars, and Venus, including your ascendant, because I just said it does affect your life purpose. And if you link it with whatever other sign it's on your birth chart, even better, because it explains to you, like for example, I was talking about myself, Jupiter in Pisces and my ascendant being in Pisces means I have to be aware of what Jupiter means, okay? Jupiter is a big planet. It's the biggest planet in the solar system with 67 moons. One of them being the biggest in the entire solar system. Can't remember the name of it, but I know I'm doing a Sagittarius video. I'm digressing now. I'm doing Sagittarius right after Capricorn. So I am learning a little bit more about the planet. There is 4 very important moons. But I just can't remember the one that's the biggest. And Pisces is represented, or moon represents Pisces, I should say. It represents all water elements, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So the moon does affect the tides, right? Water elements, water signs. We are affected by the moon. So for me, being a Pisces ascendant with a Jupiter in Pisces, it's all about spirituality and transcending feelings that are not easily expressed or translucent, connecting with the divine forces at large, and an awakening to be had, in the 12th house. I wasn't always like this, but I did always sense some type of calm and peace inside of me. Sometimes, other aspects in my birth chart will not give me that peace and tranquility that I needed, but that's one thing about Pisces. You will sense that tranquility, that calmness, that peace, that spirituality within them. They carry it, and the more they're evolved or mature, you'll see it. You will see it. You have to know that about yourself. And I'm not just talking to just Pisces. And by the way, I just did a Pisces video, so I do explain the zodiac sign in detail. So I'll leave the link as well in the description box. But I spoke a lot about the age of Pisces and how we're going into the age of Aquarius. And this is what led me to just being all over the place, kind of like how I am now. That's me in a nutshell. So I'm just giving you an example of who I am and what is my purpose on life, okay? And obviously it's, I'm supposed to expand my purpose, Jupiter's a big planet. It has to be expanded. Finding freedom, that's all Jupiter, finding the deep truths. Again, my spirituality is my entire life experience, It does play a role in my life and in the lives of others. Jupiter is also the planet of higher learning and travel. One fun fact about me, or scary fact, whichever way you want to take it, I do past life regression. And I realized when I was doing my research on ascending signs, on why I could tap into past life regression. And Jupiter is all about travel, right? And Pisces is all about spirituality and ascending. It is the connecting with the divine. So I always had, disability, but again, it's something that I'm acknowledging in my old age. I'm acknowledging now. It's something that literally has come to me. Jupiter has brought me a gift this year. Jupiter has been retrograding and transiting in the sign of Scorpio and Sagittarius. I did a video also on Jupiter. And so I am a sun sign. My sun sign, I should say, is Scorpio. I'm a cusper, Scorpio Sag. My Venus is in Sag. So the fact that it's been retrograding and Jupiter doesn't retrograde a lot. Let's not forget, this is a big planet. It's not like Mercury, where Mercury, takes about 90 days, 90 days to go around the sun. Jupiter takes a long time to orbit around the sun, I mean. So the orbiting of Jupiter probably comes once every generation. But when it does, which this year it has been in both signs that are in my birth chart. And from what I hear, when Jupiter's in retrograde, and don't quote me about the orbiting of Jupiter, please. I don't have the exact number of time or length of time that Jupiter does orbit around the sun, but when it does retrograde and transit in a particular sign, which, like I said, Scorpio and Sagittarius are in my birth chart, it does leave a gift for you. And what it has left for me this year is acknowledging and the awakening of my spiritual gifts and abilities to tap into the Akashic records. Ooh, let's talk about that. The Akashic records. I laugh because I've been wanting to learn so much about it, and again, learning about my ascending sign and got me into getting into the Akashic records, and all I wanted to do was a video about ascending signs. But that's okay, because I want you to know that it doesn't stop there. Oh my God, the Akashic records. Jeez. What can I say about the Akashic records? Well, I know that I have and I'm not just putting myself in this. I want you to know that every human on this planet have the right to inherit the gift and abilities to ascend and to awaken themselves and to be aligned spiritually and to become one with the divine. I don't think birth charts have nothing to do with it. Does it help a little bit? Yes, it does. Like I said, I knew it was always there, but I never acknowledged it. I just, like a regular Sag would do, just wing it. I'm all about winging life, right? I'm just gonna wing it, and all about freedom, and so I did what I have to do, and now I'm here to try to teach you this, okay? That you have the ability also. And that's where the Akashic Records comes in. I'll spell that for you in case you want to go into more research. It's AKASHIC. The Akashic Records hold secrets of connecting with the divine. This is something that has been known since BCE. BCE, before Christ or before Common Era, or whatever. And I wanna just talk about Jacob's Ladder a little bit, because I'm gonna go into religion. I know I'm not jumping. I promise you I'm not jumping from one thing to another. This is all connected. Jacob's Ladder is mentioned in Genesis, in the book of Genesis. It's also mentioned in other religions too, okay? Few religions. And Jacob's Ladder is basically, in like lame terms, I'm just giving you like the little bit of it. It's a ladder that's set up on earth to reach the top and into heaven. And this ladder is where God's angels ascend or descend. And if they do descend, they're here to help us earthlings. If we do ascend, it's because we have been connected to the divine, to God. There's a cute cartoon. I grew up watching Tom and Jerry, and there's this episode where Tom died. Yes, he finally dies, and he dies. I don't know what Jerry did to him. I can't remember the entire episode, but he dies, and this staircase to heaven opens up. Like he's dead, and he kind of sees himself dead, and then he sees like this staircase, this escalator. I think it's an escalator in the cartoon, to the gateway of heaven, and he see what he has done. Kind of like Scrooge, the movie. Scrooge is another example of Jacob's Ladder, where this ghost comes and descends to help Scrooge become a better person, right? Same thing. So anyway, he gets to be sent down back to earth. Tom, talking about Tom now. and Scrooge is the same way. If you ever seen The Christmas Carol, and they realize their bad ways, and the wrong things they've done in life, and the people they screwed over have not been too nice, and they start over, and they realize this, and they become a different person. It's pretty much the same thing. This is the ether. This is the air element. This is the fixed air element that is not mentioned, because it's not really recognized. It's not popular culture. But astrology and astrologers do acknowledge it, among other people that do know about the ether. We have earth, fire, water, air, and then we have this invisible fixed air that exists. And I am going to click off. I'm going to go into part 2. If you're interested in finding out about the chakras, especially about the chakras, because being divine, and learning how to heal yourself is all about the chakras. And I'm going to go into also the conclusion of this video, which is a little bit more about the ether if you're interested in the age of Aquarius. How the hell did I freaking connect birth chart, ascending signs to the age of Aquarius? It was an accident, but nothing's an accident. I've come to learn that. All right, see you in part 2.